You are live with Get Connected. Mike Agerbo here with fellow geeks, AJ Vickery and John Biehler. We've got a pretty interesting program today. Later on, we will be talking with David Tobin. He is the CEO and founder of Audiojack. This is a really cool app, and I think even more relevant now, especially with all the stress we're going through with COVID and the lockdown. You have to stay tuned and hear about this audio app and what it can do for you. We'll also be talking about the Facebook boycott. A lot of corporations here in North America and around the world are boycotting advertising on the platform for the month of July to get Facebook to be more responsible for the content, the hate content that lives up on their social platform. We'll also be speaking about everything that was banned on social last week. It's some interesting stuff, and it's something that you should listen to as well. Let's get into some of the news here. There's a lot of tech news this week, guys. And the first one I want to start off with, and I think this is actually ingenious, and I can't believe no one thought of this before. A lot of us use LinkedIn. It's kind of the business Facebook. That's where we have our resume and all the things we do in business. They now have this feature that lets you upload a 10-second audio clip telling people how to pronounce your name.
Mm-hmm. It makes so much sense.
Yeah, easy for you, AJ Vickery. I can get that, but people butcher my name all the time. Agerbo,
mine as well.
I'm hoping it catches on. But, a lot of times, even for these radio interviews we have, John, we have the guests on, and I have a hard time pronouncing the guest name, and it'd be just great if I could go on LinkedIn and hear them say it. So I sound like I'm respectful and
Well, and this ties into last week's show where we got that great advice for young people out there looking for jobs to make sure that they go out there and create those LinkedIn profiles and have those people giving them recommendations and whatnot. But again, while you're in there as well, take advantage of this new feature because it's absolutely true. You want people to understand how to say your name properly.
Love it. And speaking about the lockdown, a lot of us have been using Zoom lately. And John, there's a new plugin called
Yes, exactly. You have to say it that way.
Yes.
This is a really interesting tool, app, plugin, whatever you want to call it, that basically lets you turn your Zoom calls into kind of like Weekend Update on Saturday Night Live. It allows you to basically pop out your little video screen and put something else behind it. So you kind of have like the picture-in-picture view where you have whatever you're talking about popping up. And I think we didn't get a chance to get it all set up and working this week, but maybe next week we'll try to get that on our video podcast side as well, so we can sort of play around with that a little bit and actually bring in some of these, clips of video and photos and things like that in the background behind us while we're talking.
So like your mini newscast.
Yeah. It lets you pull your image down, move it around, and then put other stuff up beside you. So it's a little kind of like advanced screen sharing, if you will. And it's definitely the problem with screen sharing is basically once you do that, if you're recording the call like we do with our calls, everything else disappears, and just whatever is on the screen is what's the dominant thing.
And again, that's a plugin for Zoom, and it's called and that's spelled MMHMM.
Yeah, and we actually have a blog post about it. So go check it out on getconnectedmedia.com.
We're all obviously concerned about the virus and keeping clean. Samsung has announced a new ultraviolet sterilizer and wireless charger. I didn't see that coming.
Yeah, no kidding. What a great idea, though. Realistically, those are for the ones that have existed previously. And Mike, I know you've tried out a couple. They're in high demand. They were sold out right away. So this is brilliant to be able to come for Samsung to be able to bring this out.
Yeah, we've Phone Soap is the little device we've used before. I think hard to get online now if you wanted to purchase one, but it's like a little case. You open it up and you stick your phone in there and close it, and the ultraviolet light, I think within a few minutes, basically kills all the germs and bacteria that might have lived on that smartphone. And smartphones are dirty. Like we've got our grubby little fingers all over them. You know, we're out there touching things in the world, then touching our smartphones. So I would say that's ground zero for infection right
Well,
there.
and the thing I like about this one from Samsung is that you can also put your like sunglasses inside of it. You can put your earbuds. I'm wearing earbuds right now. Those are obviously in your orifices, right? So really good to be able to put those items in there and, you know, within 10 minutes have a full sterilization.
Very cool. AJ, this is something I saw that you might like. Sony's got a wearable air conditioner. This thing looks like about the size of a flat mouse, and you wear it on the back of your shirt, and they say it can cool you by up to 23 degrees Fahrenheit on a hot day.
Oh man, I have to try that. That might work for the wife's hot flashes.
Yeah, this was the release was supposed to coincide with the 2020 Tokyo Olympics. I guess it gets hot there in the summertime, but I'd be interested to check this out. But I think it's not too bad. It's about $120.
Yeah, that's not bad to keep cool in a hot day.
Yeah, so something
Dyson would probably be $459
Canadian. John, you came across something really interesting called high fidelity, and you wouldn't shut up about it.
No, because it's really cool. Highfidelity.com. It's a website you go to. And the idea is that we're having a Zoom call as we record the radio show. So we've got 3 people on the call right now. And high fidelity is an audio only call that you do. It's really meant for location-specific experiences. So say you're going to a house party, for example. Well, the idea is that you would actually create a space in high fidelity that resembles your house or, your favorite house or, say a pool area or something like that. And the idea is that each person that participates, they connect. And the really great thing about it is you don't need any software. You just need a browser, and it works on almost any device. You can join with a smartphone, a tablet, desktop or laptop, doesn't matter. And the idea is that it drops you into this virtual environment and you navigate around either with a touch interface by just sort of tapping and dragging or using like your arrow keys to move around. And it's just like you're moving around that virtual space. As you move closer to people, their conversations get louder. As you move away, they get quieter. You can actually have additional people in the space as DJs, for example, and that audio, the music that they're playing will be specific to that part of the zone, if you will. So it's like a real actual party where you have like a kitchen group of people gathered, and then you get a gathering in the living room, and then maybe outside and something like that. The people I played with it are ones that I normally go to this conference in Palm Springs at the Ace Hotel. There's a really beautiful pool area that they have there that we all would hang out at. And we were able to sort of replicate that experience virtually from people all over the world. Sort of came in and we were able to move around and sit on the virtual couch, or go by the pool and those different areas. And it was a really fantastic experience, especially because right now I haven't been able to go to those places and visit my friends. And it's so much more so than like a video call, because as you scale up the number of people on your video calls, it kind of gets unmanageable. There's always going to be one person talking versus a party where you have little pockets of people talking. And so you can actually move around and navigate. And the audible experience is very realistic to being in a real space. So it's a very cool, and right now it's free. I don't know what their plans are for paying for this. So it's probably a subscription or something like, not unlike Zoom, but it was a really great way to have a virtual experience at scale with lots of people.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. I haven't tried it myself yet. I'm just looking at some of the videos of it, but it basically presents like an overhead view of whatever kind of room or space you've created. And again, they've got some basic templates like a beach or living room. And you look down on it and you're represented by a little picture of your face. And like you said, you just kind of move around and talk to the people that you want to talk to. It looks really super cool.
And it was dead simple to set up. Like I said, there's no app to install. And you can even upload your own images. I actually have a drone photo I took of the Ace Hotel in Palm Springs, and we're going to use that on the next call we do together so that we actually have the actual space laid out and we can navigate around it in real time.
So
I'm a big fan of this one.
Sorry, AJ?
I'm not sure I'm a big fan of this one.
No, why?
Well, because now it's just going back to being in that room where no one's talking to me. Here
why is AJ over in the corner by himself?
Crying.
In that room again.
Crying. And you'll be able to hear him crying in the distance.
That's right.
You can hear it louder as you approach him.
Yeah.
Again, it's called High Fidelity. Is this, does it work on iPhones and Android and desktop?
Yeah, it works on everything. Yeah. Which is kind of the incredible thing, because it's just an audio app with it kind of looks like The Sims. If you've ever played The Sims, like a top-down view of, your little virtual avatars that you can customize. And and it's free right now.
Cool. We're going to have to take a break. I just want to throw to our contest this month. We're giving away a really cool prize. It's from Alcatel. It's a phone. It's their Go Flip 3. And this is, believe it or not, guys, a flip phone. Do you remember flip phones? Mm-hmm. So this one, it's simple. This would be great for someone that just wants the simple life, but maybe some of the nice, smartphone things like a Facebook or Google Maps. So when you flip this open, it's got like the regular numeric keypad for making calls. Like normal. And then the top part's a color screen, and it's running an operating system called Kai OS. And you can download some basic apps. It comes with Google Maps, YouTube. You can get things like WhatsApp as well. They've got a little app store that you can get games and stuff like that. But super simple. It's got a built-in little camera as well. I mean, it's not going to take amazing photos, but the photos aren't bad. But again, super simple. This would be great for a grandparent or a parent that just wants something to make those calls and, have some basic internet functionality. And again, we're going to be giving this away. You go to our website, getconnectedmedia.com, hit the newsletter tab and subscribe, and you're entered to win. When we come back from the break, we'll be talking more about social media, what was banned on social this week, and the Facebook boycott. Back after this. You're back with Get Connected. Mike here with AJ and John. A little bit we'll be talking about the big Facebook boycott and some of the companies that are pulling their advertising from the platform here in July and why they're doing that and if it'll make any significant change. Right now, though, we're going to talk about what's being banned on social media this past few weeks. And, some pretty big news here, guys. I think the big one for me would be TikTok. TikTok is this new social platform used by a lot of younger people, has these, quick little videos, very addictive, and it's based in China. It's a Chinese app that has spread around the world. And now it looks like India is banning TikTok. And there were millions of users in India. But I guess with the ongoing conflict that they have going on with China over the disputed border in the Himalayas, that resulted in the death of 20 Indian soldiers, it looks like they're sticking it to China now.
It's interesting, too, because just to put it in perspective, Instagram has about 112 million active daily users, and TikTok is supposed to have somewhere in the range of 45 million. So it's quickly growing across everything. So this is a pretty big issue for TikTok. We've also heard rumblings that the US might be consider banning it as well because of the Chinese connections there. And an interesting thing that was sort of discovered a little bit late last week is TikTok was one of the biggest apps to actually be looking at your clipboard. And when you install iOS 14, like I did, every time you use your clipboard to paste something, it tells you where that item was pasted from and or which app is accessing your clipboard. And TikTok got called out on accessing the clipboard unnecessarily. There's no reason for them to access it. So it makes you kind of wonder, well, what else is going on in the background? And they had quickly backpedaled about all this type of stuff, but it's not going to help countries like India from banning them. Just further cements their case that there is some fishy things going on there, and not to mention the political aspects that you mentioned too, Mike.
And I mean, obviously, there's huge political overtones. The U.S. now, Pompeo is even saying that they're potentially going to ban TikTok in the U.S. as well because they say it's a Chinese app and all your information is going over to to China. TikTok has come out and said that's not true. All the TikTok users in the U.S., all their information is stored on U.S. servers with a backup over in Singapore. But yeah, to your point, John, the whole clipboard thing. I mean, that kind of stuff happens to a lot of the social networks, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. Again, it's almost like a reckoning is happening with different companies sort of realizing that they can't just run fast and loose like they used to. They actually have to really lock and secure this stuff down properly, and they're getting called out about it all the time at government levels, but also on the consumer side too. And then simple things like the clipboard discovery, really highlights this problem, and it's going to force any new developers coming out with stuff to really take this into account and really be an advocate for the user as opposed to themselves and or the governments behind them.
So also banned, there's a lot of banning going on here. YouTube has banned a group of far-right creators, which, why hadn't they done that sooner? I don't know why. Another one here, this was kind of interesting. Facebook bans a violent Boogaloo network. I hadn't heard about the Boogaloo movement, but it's apparently a loose-knit collection of anti-government type folks who are agitating for a second civil war. Like how AJ, like how would this play out on Facebook? Why wouldn't they've taken down something like this?
Oh yeah, I mean, you think that. Well, I mean, and that's one of the problems with Facebook. It's such a massive machine that they can have rooms of people checking content 24 hours a day and still not get to everything. Unless it's brought to their attention. So I think that again, when you have something as big as Facebook, those are some of the challenges in actually fighting these content creators that are possibly ones that you'd want to ban.
So this particular network, Facebook, removed 220 Facebook accounts, 95 Instagram accounts, 28 Facebook pages. The list goes on, plus more than 400 other groups and 100 other similar pages that weren't connected to the main group, but posted similar type of content. And that will lead us into our next segment. When we come back from the break, we'll be talking about the big Facebook ad boycott that will hopefully make Facebook change some of their ways that many governments haven't been able to do. You are listening to Get Connected here on the Chorus Radio Network. We'll be back after this. You are back with Get Connected. Mike Agerbo here with AJ and John. We've been talking a lot about social media and things getting banned on this program. Want to dive into the whole Facebook news story happening right now. A lot of big corporations, literally hundreds of big companies, are pulling their advertising from the Facebook platform. They have a group that is spearheading this, and surprisingly have actually made a lot of headway. It's hashtag Stop Hate for Profit. And big companies, like even the big 5 banks here in Canada, are on board with it. Coca-Cola, Lululemon, Mountain Equipment Co-op, the list goes on and on. Essentially, they're trying to hold Facebook accountable for their perceived policy failings of not removing hateful content. And AJ, just in the previous segment, you made a good point. I mean, it's so big. They've got 2 billion active users. And the only way they're going to come across a lot of this content is either if someone's reporting it, or, Facebook humans are finding this, or they've got bots looking for it. But at a certain point, there is kind of a social responsibility, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, it is their fault that they're that big,
Yeah.
Like that's all the joys of success that they built into it. So my point is just, merely that, trying to stay on top of that much content. How do you do it? I mean, I think AI is definitely one tool, but again, then you still have to have, people checking stuff. I know that, some campaigns have been just, removed from Facebook as a result of being caught by these bots, but yet they weren't problematic. And then you get the advertisers trying to figure out how to get back on there when they haven't actually done anything wrong. So it's a cluster,
But it looks like this group is making a little more headway than what governments haven't been able to do. I mean, Facebook has been hauled up in front of so many different government organizations and, been called, to task for not, limiting the spread of, hate speech and what have you. But I think it might make a difference when it hits their pocketbook. I mean, that's how they make, I think $70 billion a year from the advertising platform they have, basically mining all our personal information and serving us up ads.
I think one of the things that was a little disconcerting to hear from Mark Zuckerberg himself was the fact that he wasn't as concerned by this boycott because it's a small blip in their, in their overall ad revenue and that type of thing. But I think that he might regret saying that, because I think even since he said that a few days ago, it's grown much bigger and it's going to be a much bigger hit. And, right now it's for July, but what's to stop it from continuing going forward? And people realize that they're actually not getting a lot of value from it, or they're getting the wrong kind of value from their advertising dollars on Facebook. So it's, and there's some people are saying that, they'll survive it, but they'll have to take a huge public image hit. But they've been getting hit for a while with all these privacy and concerns and other things, let alone helping to peddle the hate stuff as well.
I'm concerned though, guys, because they're not taking I think enough steps to crack down on this, and it's more than this. It's you look back at the 2016 election and the Russian interference there. I mean, that shaped an election. You know what I mean? Like it could have gone another way if that hadn't happened. And then I'm just looking at all the crap I'm seeing on my Facebook feed from people posting all this just incorrect information about COVID-19 and like face masks. Like at a certain point, there's a responsibility there. Like you can't have people posting all this factually incorrect information. It makes a difference.
It does. And, I think, John, you made a really good point there. Like, legal disputes are cost of business when it comes to these, giant companies, and they can budget for that. But there's an exponential growth side to that public image, which can be really damaging. And when the public gets together and unifies that voice, that's where the damage can be done. And that's where that responsibility, you'll see a change of tune when those real dollars start to disappear.
Well, it's interesting too, because I think there's even louder voices of opposition to Facebook as a platform in general, and we're seeing more and more people close and delete their accounts, their personal accounts. So there's going to be less people to market to if they're going to be pissing off all these people to the point where they're actually going to close and delete their accounts and move to some other platform. And to be honest, we hear about new social platforms all the time, and for every 100 of those crappy ones, there might be one potential Facebook replacement, but even then those don't tend to live long before something else comes along. And Facebook's one of the few that have had the traction over the years, but the tides might be turning, I think, and that's something we're starting to see with this huge outcry from all sides. The business is paying the ads, but also the users that are being served them.
But it's tough, for the users. Like what outlet do we have to force them to change? Like I love what the corporations are doing. Like that's hitting Facebook, but we're not paying Facebook other than giving our information. And the only way we can, hurt them is delete our Facebook account. But then,
where am I going to get my cat photos from?
I know. And this sounds so horrible, but you're disconnecting yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's hard. Okay, we're going to have to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk a little more about being relaxed. There's so much craziness happening in this world. We're going to talk with David Tobin. He's the founder of Audiojack, an awesome app for just calming you down and helping you create visual stories in your mind. I know that sounds hippy-dippy, but I tried this. It is freaking amazing, and you've got to check it out. When we come back from the break, all about Audiojack. Stay tuned. You are back with Get Connected. Mike Agerbo here with John Biehler. Been pretty stressful times, John. The lockdown is wearing me down. We're going to talk about an interesting app now that could help us be a little calmer. It's called Audiojack. We've chatted about this before on the program, but I think it's even more relevant now. On the line, we've got our good friend David Tobin. I got that right, hopefully. He's the creator and founder and CEO of Audiojack. Thanks for joining us, David.
Hey, it's a pleasure to be here. And yes, you got David Tobin correct.
Yes, this time. Explain to our listeners again what the Audiojack app does. And then, later on, we're going to give an example of it as well.
Okay, great. Yeah. So an Audiojack is an audio-based movie. So you listen to it, and there's no video because it's all audio-based, but there's also no words, there's no dialogue, and there's no music. It's all sound design. Hundreds and hundreds of sounds are edited together to tell a story for your imagination. And inside the Audiojack app, there's over 50 different audio jacks to choose from action adventure to history to wildlife to environment, sports even, and whatnot. And they're all different, and we never tell you the actual story behind any of them. That way there's never a wrong answer. Whatever you listen to, whatever you're hearing, you come up with, that's the story.
Is this a type of meditation then, would you say?
I wouldn't say it's meditation at all. It's imagination. Okay. Our whole campaign is take back your imagination because the importance of it is really lost on a lot of people these days, and the health benefits of using your imagination. You do get into a meditative state when you listen to an Audiojack, but by no means is this meditation.
So walk me through, listening to one of these. You'll bring up the app, you choose one of these Audiojacks, and what are you doing as you're listening to it?
Yeah. So you'll open up the app, you'll pick a category, and you'll go through and pick one of the Audiojacks that you want to do, and then you hit play and close your eyes. And you sit and just let your imagination go. You might hear the wind in trees start to blow, and then you hear feet, and they stop, and a door creaks open. The sounds are much better than the ones I'm making with my voice. It is not me on there going, bang, pow. That is not it at all. And so the story starts to unfold and your imagination engages. Is it daytime? Is it nighttime? Is it windy? Is it this? What does the building look like? What's the door? Is it you? Is it someone else? All these things start to happen as your memory and imagination converge and start to create a narrative because we have a direct association to sound. It's just something that happens. Your brain starts working when you hear these things and we have associations connected. And so you sit and you let your imagination go. What happens is you get into a meditative state because you're concentrating on this. You're daydreaming. It's intentional daydreaming in the most simple way of putting it. There's a bunch of science on the audiojack.com website that we've done. We've got a bunch of research with different programs and facilities around that have highlighted the science behind why this is different than those other things. But yeah, you're sitting there doing it, and then you can even compare your stories to other people while you're listening to the Audiojack. After you're done, you ask someone else, well, what did you come up with? Well, they're going to be totally different because we all have different associations with it. And it's really neat to engage with. There's different activities inside the app as well. But at the core of it, you're taking a break from a screen, from everything. You're closing your eyes and you're letting your imagination go for a little while.
Who's using this?
That's a really funny question. And it's everybody that can hear now. It's really turned into this thing where people are looking for a way to take a break from all the noise and chaos, that don't want a meditation, don't want this, just want to feel like they can escape and feel like they're on a beach somewhere. So it's a lot of everybody, and there's no language barriers I mentioned before because it's all sound design. So it's globally people. We have a huge audience in education that uses Audiojack. There's a lot of research we've done into art and writing programs and why this is used there, and it's helped raise grades. A lot of parents are using Audiojack at home right now with the different activities in there to engage their kids because they need new tools and other things going on with that space. Prior to what was going on now, and it still is in some facilities that can get the resources to them, but a lot of senior care, memory loss, and dementia programs use Audiojack, as well as facilities that have people going through chemotherapy and dialysis. It all comes back to the same thing. We want people to feel like they're somewhere else. And it actually reduces your stress and anxiety, and it helps you kind of escape those spaces and be more calm. So, if you are going through chemo, you're not looking around at what's going on with everyone else. You actually feel like you're somewhere else, and it lets you relax and it takes that stress off. And that's also what's helped people engage in education. So there's a really long answer to probably a very simple question.
One thing I really liked about what you said offline is that you actually run these Zoom calls with Audiojack, and you have people from all over the world coming in for these different sessions. And then after you've had a shared experience with a particular Audiojack, everyone gets to sort of like chime in and sort of talk about it, kind of like going to the movies, but
yeah.
But it's a shared experience that is very different than going to a movie with a friend and then talking about it afterwards. But it's not dissimilar to that.
Exactly, and that's been really kind of a neat thing. So what we'll do is that's also on the website. You can find the info to that. But it's a session where it's very much like how we're connected now. I'll mirror the app, and we'll all listen to Audiojack. I don't share my story because I'm the one that created it, unless there's other ones that our team has created that I don't know the story to. I'll comment on that. But yeah, it's just a really nice way to engage, and it is like going to the movies. It's hanging out and interpreting. It's wow. What did you feel? Where were you at? And the conversations have been amazing too, to have people connect from different, not just parts of the world, but different walks of life. Like we have blind people showing up in the middle of our Audiojack sessions as well, not in the middle, but to the sessions, and they can engage with sighted people. And we have, people, and sometimes there's 5 people in a session, sometimes there's 25, sometimes there's way more, and that's the beauty of it. It's just open for people to come hang out. Sometimes there's families, sometimes there's, we've had some neat people pop through. We've had we had a couple different authors. We had some of the editing team from a couple different TV shows come through, and just random people popping through. So it's been a neat way to engage with others in a time when we can.
Is there cost to the app?
To the app, yeah. The free, the Zoom sessions that we do and stuff like that, that's all free. The app you can download for free. There's a free Audiojack in every section, but then if you want to subscribe, it's a whopping $14.99 a year, so $1.25 a month for access to everything.
So you're rich.
Well, we have a lot of clients around the world, and it's a really neat little way to engage people. And the reason why the Audiojack actually used to be a lot more expensive when it first came out. And the reason why it's so affordable now is because we have so many users, and it's always been our goal to have it as cheap as possible, because a lot of after school programs and nonprofits use Audiojack, and a lot of other programs do, and they don't have the resources to pay for an expensive app for every single student. And right now, we're also giving away tons of free subscriptions to nonprofits of their programs. So if you have questions, please let me know. We'll get you taken care of, because their budgets have been slashed because of the virus, because all these things have happened. And so it's our opportunity to provide resources. I mean, what kind of person would I be to say, oh, well, hey, you guys really want this resource that can help people, but I'm going to not let you have it because it costs money? And I'm like, no way, not when it's at this level. It's a subscription. I can get that taken care of. There's plenty of other people downloading it. And here we are. Does that look okay to y'all?
Yeah.
All right, there we go. We're inside the Audiojack app. So there's a bunch of different categories. The AR one we created with Bose, and that one we can't do over Zoom. So we're going to hop in the adventure category. And I think I'm going to get us going here, and we're going to play an Audiojack. So you can see there's all these different categories inside the app. There's day in the life, and it's really open to your interpretation of it. All right, so we're in the adventure section here, and we're going to pick one of these Audiojacks to choose from. And then you'll see a couple different things in each section, but also there's activities in here with step-by-step instructions on how to do different things with Audiojack, which is really fun. And those are all included. But we're going to hop to the adventure section, and we're going to do our flagship Audiojack, actually, called Live Forever. And the thing you'll notice here, there is no way to skip ahead in the Audiojack. It's straightforward. And that's by intent. We want you to be able to sit and listen to the Audiojack. If you scrub ahead, you're going to miss part of the story, because all the story is being told with sound. It's not like a song where you're going to hear the chorus a second time. It's you either get it or you don't. So without further ado, you guys just kind of close your eyes, let your imagination go. I'm going to play a couple minutes here of Live Forever and see what you come up with. right, I'm going to stop it right there because the action's about to get going, and then you're not going to want to stop. And I'll let everyone get into it because that's a little setup there. So just hearing that, generally I recommend people listen to it twice.
I get it now. I totally get it. Yeah, that was amazing. It just your mind just starts creating this I guess visual story. Yeah, that was.
What were you coming up with? What was was it what time of day was it for you?
It was nighttime.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And I was. It seemed like I was in a forest of some type, and a plane was coming in. Yeah, it was awesome.
I was getting. I was on an episode of Naked and Afraid, and the plane was just leaving me on an island. And then all the creatures were starting to make their noises.
Oh, nice.
That's amazing. That's awesome. Nice. Yeah, and then that's actually one of the unlocked ones. It's free. So if you download the app, you can access that one for free and hear the rest of it and stuff. And then the neat thing is, so what you would do is, there's different stories in here and different activities in here. And one that I do in our sessions is, we listen to the Audiojack twice and then we share, and it can keep going while you write and it keeps playing. And it's really fun. It's a neat way to engage the mind. Also, how did you feel? Did you feel like your energy was relaxing at all? Or
yeah, it was. I'm going to do this tonight. I'm just going to lie in bed and just listen to this. This is so relaxing. The
thing that I took away from it, though, I was extremely focused on what was actually happening.
Yeah.
Right. So I was trying to message somebody on Slack. And I'm like, I can't do that now. I have to pay attention. So
yeah.
Yeah. And I think obviously that's the intent, is to draw you in, and it clearly worked.
Yeah. I think that's the thing, it's our listening skills as humans has suffered greatly over time. And even more now with the always on generation and everyone on the device, every 10 seconds of the day, oh my gosh, because we're so accessible. So we're doing a lot of half listening. And I always kind of thought it's multitasking. But multitasking is I think doing a bunch of things really poorly at once. It's not really doing anything. And these are the core skills. And yeah, we're advancing as humans and doing all this other stuff, but we still have to be good listeners. We have to give ourselves time just to be in the moment and just let our mind go and let these things happen. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. Just because you can work 24/7 and have a computer on and do this and use this device, that's not good humaning.
That's awesome.
There you go. So so that's Audiojack. That's what's going on. And lately, with the virus and everything going on, people are really engaging with us a lot because it gives them a chance to just, for a couple minutes, feel like they're somewhere else.
Very cool. We're talking with David Tobin. This has been the bonus part of the interview up here on the video podcast on Get Connected. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, thanks a lot. Talk to you guys soon.
We're talking with David Tobin. He's the CEO and founder of Audiojack at audiojack.com, an app you can download for your smartphone to take you to another world through the magic of sounds. Don't forget to hit our contest page, getconnectedmedia.com. If you hit our newsletter tab, subscribe, you're entered to win this week's contest. We are giving away an Alcatel Go Flip 3. This is a flip phone that can make and receive calls, but also has some basic apps on it, things like WhatsApp and Google Maps, Google Assistant, to still help you keep connected, but not making it overly complicated. Again, getconnectedmedia.com. You want to check it out. And I want to also give a shout out to our sister show tomorrow, The App Show. Airs across the Chorus Radio Network. We've got some really great interviews happening. We'll be telling you how to make the most out of Instagram to fix your photos and look your best. And what else we got going there, John?
We also are going to be talking about indoor navigation with our good friend Gary Steves.
This is cool. We all use GPS for getting around in our cars and on streets, but indoor navigation is really growing, and we're going to tell you about the apps that are making that happen. I want to thank all the folks that helped put the show together, AJ and John, our co-hosts here, and our producer, Christina, also Stephen, Nigel, Paul, and Ged, and Graham, of course. We'll see you again next time. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube page. And you know that little bell icon? Hit that and you'll be notified every time we post a new video. And comment. The more comments and the more likes and subscriptions we get, the more videos we can make.